Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. I am Jason. He is Zach. As always, we're back, baby.
Back.
How you doing, man? How's your weekend?
Great weekend of fights.
It's a great weekend.
Yeah, good weekend. A lot of family time. It was really fun.
Yeah, we did too. We
hung out a lot, and it was fun, and we had a good time. And it was, I kind of like the Saturday afternoon fights, and then you get your Saturday night to hang out with the fam. That was nice.
It kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop because that time's usually when I'm going to the gym. So,
oh yeah,
it was a rest day for me.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I mean, they started at 10 and didn't get over till 4.
Yeah, I know they went for a while. It went for a while.
What's that movie line? Are you not entertained? Like, come on. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was an awesome card to kick off 2021.
So, yeah.
We saw some shocking things.
Where do you want to start? Do you want to start?
Let's start at the bottom.
Can we start at the bottom?
Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start?
I was going to say we could just start with Max, but we'll end with the Max because I know we're probably going to keep going.
That for
All right.
a minute.
Austin Lingo, Jacob Kilburn. I think we're both in agreement on this. Lingo,
1 for 1.
LFA guy. Yeah.
I'm just big on it, and I think you see it. Garrett said don't sleep on Kilburn, and I wasn't trying to sleep on him, but and like it's those guys, they could fight 10 times, and there could be a different outcome on some of those nights, but I think Austin Lingo showed the more experienced skill set. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. I actually missed the first couple of these fights.
That's okay.
So Vanessa Mello, Sarah Morris.
It was as boring as we thought it was going to be. Let's just leave it at that.
I think I picked Mello. I did. I picked Mello on that one.
You did pick Mello, and I picked
2 for 2, baby.
But no, I mean, did anybody really win with that fight? I don't think so. I don't know. No, good for her.
Yeah, I mean, does nothing for me.
The Amiv and Zawada fight was a lot of fun.
That was good. I did catch glimpses of that one. That was good.
I thought I had the upset with Zawada. Like, that was my upset pick. I thought I was right on it, and he lost the split decision. It was fair. I wasn't mad at the split decision, but dude, Amiv does not. He can wrestle and he can take you down. He just doesn't do anything from the top.
Yep. I think we talked about that too.
And and he did it again. And Zawada is active and he fights at a really high pace. I like him. I mean, I think both of those young fighters could actually have pretty good long careers. But yeah, it was good. I liked it. That was a fun fight.
Then we had the heavyweights coming in there, Carlos Felipe and Justin Tafa, which I didn't really agree with the decision on this one.
I picked that one right because I was heavy on Carlos Felipe.
Yeah.
Going to the judges' scorecard, I did not think he won that fight.
I didn't think so either.
I thought Tafa won 29-28. That's how I would have scored it. Biasly, I thought Felipe. I mean, that to me I don't know. I don't know if that's maybe we should just buy some more Justin Tafa stock because like he's good, or Carlos Felipe just. I mean, he beat up Jorgen De Castro, who's really an inflated 205er.
I don't know. I mean, and Justin Tafa, he's only 27 years old. He's 4-2. The guy's only got 6 fights under his belt. What's his amateur?
But that's
one amateur fight too.
He's got into it late and he's tough and he I don't know. He showed something. I think it's unfortunate for Justin Tafa, and what I'm seeing when I watch that fight and you do the MMA math of the round robin that those 3s have been in with Jorgen De Castro, right?
Yeah.
We saw Tafa get brutally knocked out on a check hook that he just didn't see coming. One lucky punch and now everybody's down on the guy. Maybe we should be buying stock on this guy. Maybe he's going to go on a nice little run. He's very early into his career. I mean, that's 2 tough losses in a row. Is it 2 in a row, or did he get a win between those 2?
I think he got a win in between.
Yeah.
He got a win in between.
Yeah, he beat Juan Adams, knocked him out. I mean, you're talking about a counter right hook that just landed, and if that doesn't land, very well could have won that fight. And then I felt was like a poor judge's decision.
He easily could be
that close. He's that close to being 6-0. So I'm actually buying Justin Tafa fight. I even coming off the split decision loss, I like him.
Agreed. I think we were both on Felipe too, which
Yeah, we
I mean, I'll take that. I think this was my first miss of the night. This Jocelyn Edwards and Yanan Wu.
She was good. Edwards
She was really good. She brought it.
She is good. She's pretty active, very consistent. When I say consistent, I mean just constant movement, constant aggression, like that. I don't know. Again, didn't make me go, oh, future champion, but it was kind of a cool little moment. First female fighter from Panama to step foot in an octagon and win, and she carried that with her. That's always fun.
That's cool.
When you see a fighter carrying kind of the nation's weight on their shoulders, they feel like it's cool.
Yeah. Good morning to my wife who's watching.
Hey, Sherry.
Next up, actually, this is probably our first upset of the night, wasn't it? Soriano and Tordoro.
On this one. Hey, Desco, put your hands up, bro.
Yeah.
What was that?
When we were watching it, well, I tweeted it that I thought it was a bad stoppage, but then I watched it again. I was like, yeah, he was getting
4 times.
Yeah, he was getting.
So the thing is, and even Panua Hili said, I'm surprised he stopped it because he went immediately dropped, but went for his ankles. Yeah. Dusko's just one of those guys. Like he'll die in there. He's a Serbian. he'll die in there, and he'll keep fighting as long as he's conscious. And there's nothing in his DNA that says curl up and do this when you're hurt. He's just going to keep trying. And I commend him for that. But I think we texted during this. We both saw it very early.
Yep.
He throws these punches and then just tries to lean with his hands down. I'm like, that worked on the low level stuff in your first fight, but dude, that is going to catch up to you. And
it did.
Did it ever? Because he got dropped over and over and over.
Yeah, not good.
That was a poor technique, and really, that's just sloppy.
So that's interesting.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's interesting for Soriano. Now he goes to what, 8-0 now,
and impressive. Like he's
impressive 8-0.
Beat another undefeated guy in the UFC. Dana White Contender Series guy.
Yep. LFA. He's fought in the LFA too.
Guy. Like he's, held belts in other organizations. Titan FC is a big one. PFL. Yep. He has a good amateur, good 4 amateur career. Like the guy's been built up the right way, and he fights out of Extreme Couture. He's got dynamite in his hands. 5'11" at 185 is a little tough.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. The same thing too.
It's a little tough, but Robert Whittaker is not much bigger.
No,
if at all. And he packs a punch, and he obviously has lightning in those hands. I mean, you look at it. First round knockout, unanimous decision in the Contender Series. Rear naked choke, ref stoppage from strikes first round, win by punches in the first round, rear naked choke in the first round. He's well-rounded. But he beats everybody in the first round, it seems like. And he has good ground games, trains in Extreme Couture, so he's working on his wrestling, and it's got dynamite. That's definitely a prospect to keep your eye on. I still think Dusko's a prospect to keep your eye on. He just has to clean up a few bad habits.
Yeah. These are both young guys. I don't think it's going to hurt him. He's only Dusko is only 26, 27 years old.
Yeah.
He's still got a bright future. Just needs to clean up a few things.
Shocker.
Put those hands up.
Yeah. Put your hands up. Hands up.
Another back-to-back upsets. Alessio Chirico.
That one was shocking to me.
Yeah. I think when we talked about it on Friday, we both were in agreement that we thought that they were trying to give Buckley another win. And maybe he felt, and maybe he was a little overconfident going into it. I don't know what it was.
You ready for this? You know who else felt it? Alessio Chirico. There's nothing like having a chip on your shoulder when you step into that cage. Yeah. Nobody believes in me.
What did you think about his post-fight little conference? Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
He was pissed because they were only interviewing him. He said there's 2 people that go into the cage to fight. He wanted them to interview Buckley too. He was mad that he was the only one getting interviewed. He was pissed Dana White even talked about it. Dana's like, yeah, I went to go congratulate him in the locker room, and he's like, his team was looking at me like they had just lost the fight. they were pissed. And then he talked about it. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do this interview. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, he was.
This is your moment. You've been losing for a minute now, pal. Like, take your moment.
Well, the thing is,
Wait, he doesn't realize Dana's going to be like, okay, cut.
I kind of think he was getting a little. I mean, looking at it a little deeper before we pushed on. Look at his last 3 losses. He first of all, the guy's 31 years old. He's only had 19. He's had under 20 fights, right? He loses to Kevin Holland, right? No slouch. Kevin Holland, fighter of the year, right? Then he loses to Muradov, who's almost double his fights. He's got 20. He had 28 fights. Then he loses to Zach Cummings, double his fights. So he's fighting just these experienced guys and veteran guys and losing. I mean, maybe this guy does end up being maybe a little better than what we thought. I don't know.
Well, they weren't bad losses, and we talked about that on the breakdown. It's not like he was losing to bums. It's just how many times can you lose before your confidence is shook, right?
Yeah, that's true too.
But fighters are a different breed too, and I say it all the time. And the reason why I know that when people give me a hard time, like our last guest, when she's like, "Oh, come on, like you can fight," I'm like, no. Like I'm not making a career out this, because fighters are wired differently, and I'm around people that are wired like this. Like their confidence doesn't shake, and fighters, and those guys that have that inner belief. And we're going to talk about another fighter later that has some inner belief, but they have that inner belief in themselves, and they're a different breed, man. And I think sometimes we think our mindset and our logic of like, I would say I'm a fan first. Like when I get into that cage, it's different, but I'm a fan first. And those guys, I mean, I can tell you right now, if I would have lost like my first 2 fights, I probably wouldn't have had a third. I mean, those guys are different, man. But what a weird take at the end of that. Like what a weird take.
Yeah, that was strange, but I don't know.
Then he could do whatever he wants.
Well, now we're going on the ups. We're continuing the upset train with the Leech upsetting Ponzinibbio, which I think we cautioned a little bit on this with Ponzinibbio having that break and having some medical issues leading up to this. I don't know if that played an effect to it, but
I thought he'd be ready. Physically, he looked different. I texted you that. He looked smaller to me. Physically, he wasn't as just, usually he was just, this 170 monster, the guy that, beat Neil Magny, flatline Neil Magny. Go look at that clip and go look at him fighting the other night. His muscle mass is considerably different.
Yep.
And I don't know if he just didn't want to carry around as much weight cut, whatever. But, the Leech he was the type of guy that the old Ponzinibbio flatlines, but we didn't know what the guy with 2 years off would look like.
Nope.
And that it looks like he's got to rebuild himself a little bit. Now he's 27-4. He can do that still. He's still one way a win from getting back into the top 15. And now we're going, but
yeah,
the Leech, that guy, that Jingling Lee, he's tough, man. Like he's really tough. And
he is tough.
To me, he seems like the gatekeeper type. Like he's always going to be hovering just inside the top 15 or just outside of it. I don't know. He's tough. He's going to be a tough guy. He's a tough opponent for people that are trying to break into that top 15.
Very tough. Yeah, I agree. Carlos Condit, Matt Brown. Did you agree with the decision on that one? I saw Matt Brown was a little upset with one of the judges on a 30-27.
The decision, absolutely. 30-27. No way. As soon as I heard 30-27, I was sitting on the bed with my wife watching the fights. As soon as 30-27, I said, no way.
Yeah.
30-27, no way. Matt Brown won the first round, like clearly won the first round.
Yeah.
Controlled him.
When are they going to get some accountability for these judges?
They've got to, man. And this one, at least it didn't cost anybody the money or, a fight or whatever. I mean, you could argue Justin Toffett probably cost him a nice chunk of change with these judging.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, man. And over in Abu Dhabi, I don't know where they're pulling from on these judges.
Yeah.
Is Dana handpicking these guys, or is The Las Vegas Athletic Commission just sending them over? Is a different athletic commission just sending them? I have no idea.
That's a good question.
Who they're sending over. Does Abu Dhabi have their own judges?
It's a good question. It doesn't say it on the sheet on Tapology. It tells who the ring announcers are and the TV announcers, but it doesn't say who the judges are. Interesting. So what's next for Carlos Condit then?
He didn't have a name.
Yeah.
He didn't have a name, but okay. So I have a question for you. We just watched him. His Achilles heel was kind of always his wrestling. He had one of the sickest takedowns I think I've ever seen in a cage in that fight, where he kind of stepped and put his leg behind and just, that was slick, man. And, he looks like, I don't know if he still has the same, he doesn't have the same pop, like in his punches and stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
He looked really great against Court McGee, and he looked really good against an aging Matt Brown who looks like he's on his way out. But by the way, Matt Brown, he came to fight. Like all that talk about him not being engaged and him on his way out and stuff, throw all that out. We forgot who Matt Brown is. And that dude he's a savage, and he was in there till the end.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that out there. Do you give him, do you give Conduit one more and then try and get him back into the top 15? There's one fight that's really interesting to me.
Who's that?
Him and Robbie Lawler rematch.
I like that a lot, actually.
Robbie's sitting there at 13.
They have
one of the top 5 greatest UFC fights ever.
I really like that a lot.
And they're both kind of in the same point of their career where I think both of, like Robbie Lawler's had some tough losses, but he's also fighting young, hungry lions. And I think Carlos loses to a lot of those guys that Robbie's lost to. But I think if you start giving Robbie Lawler the Matt Browns and some aging veterans or some guys that just aren't there yet, I think Robbie kind of beats him up too. I think they're at the same point in their career. And yes, we're not gonna recapture the magic of that night, but I think we have a really fun fight between two legends again. And it's like, let Carlos go on this like Legends tour. I don't know. Hurry and give him Diego before he leaves. I don't know.
Diego did say he wants one more fight, so that'd be interesting.
Oh my gosh.
I like it. I don't see either one of those guys breaking into the top 10, but I mean, I'm all for seeing those two guys
try.
Yeah.
I want to see him try. I love both those guys. I mean, Robbie Lawler's one of my top 5 favorite fighters of all time. So
I just noticed something. Did we touch on this last week? Why is Conor McGregor on the 170 rankings?
Because who left? Didn't somebody just like go to Bellator or something? Who got out of their contract?
What
welterweight?
I don't remember. But why is Conor in there?
Because his last fight was at welterweight.
Interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah, they threw him in there, and there's a lot of people that didn't like it. But I'm not going to lie. I think Conor at about 15 in the welterweight is about fair.
I mean,
at least they didn't do something silly and try and put him at like 4.
Yeah, that.
You know what I mean? Like they just want Conor McGregor's name in there somewhere. At least they put him at like 15. You know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting. We'll see if he. I mean, he's looking bigger, but I don't know if he's big enough. I don't know if he's big enough.
He's not Usman big.
No,
I still think Conor's building up to fight Jorge Masvidal at 170 at some point. That fight. It's got to happen. It's gonna happen. Or Jorge. Okay, there's so many storylines, and it can go which way, whatever, with Conor right now. It all depends on what happens next Saturday.
What he does.
Saturday? This Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of what happens, what's up with our decision we were supposed to have?
The decision is there's no decision.
There's no decision. I was so pissed. I
know you were.
Me and my buddy have a little bet going on that he thinks Khabib's coming back. He's like, you're gonna owe me, blah blah blah, and I'm like, he ain't coming back, man. I just didn't think he was coming back. Now Khabib's sitting on his freaking throne. I want to see the peasants fight to see who's worthy enough to fight me.
Absolutely, and he should. But by the way, he should.
But I messaged you this. yesterday. I didn't care to see him fight a McGregor again. I don't want to see him fight any of the guys that he's already beat. But
Now
I've
you
had a
do.
little change of heart.
Yeah, you have.
If McGregor beats Poirier, which I think a lot of us are assuming he's going to do, let's just say hypothetically,
including everybody in the UFC,
including Dana White, he beats Poirier, right? Let's just say Hooker.
what if he
Chandler,
flatlines Poirier in 60 seconds the way he says he will?
then you got to give. I think you got to give him one more fight. If he takes like a Gaethje or an Oliveira, if he wins that whatever other RDA, I don't care who else they give him to. If he wins again,
oh wait,
I want to see it.
So
I want to see it.
So you mean what I predicted last week when I said Conor would win the belt, and then Khabib would come back and say, you don't get my belt. That's mine. Give it back.
But Khabib's not giving it up though. He said he wouldn't hold it up, but he's not officially retired. I think like you talked about, McGregor starts as Poirier.
Exactly. He's going to get the interim belt.
Takes another fight. I don't think he's going to get an interim belt.
Bet you me. Yeah, if he beats Dustin Poirier, I will bet you whatever you want that his next fight will be for the 155 title or the interim 155 title.
Well, they'll have to make a decision by then.
That's what I'm saying. And then so if he goes and he beats, let's say he fights Michael Chandler or Justin Gaethje for the interim 155 belt, or Oliveira, or Oliveira, whatever, like any of those guys. And I'm saying Gaethje or Chandler because I think that's who the UFC is going to try and push there.
Yeah.
Not that Oliveira is obviously not that he's not deserving, but he is.
We talked about that a little bit.
If he does fight, then I think you give him the interim. You let him fight for the interim. If the other guy wins, then Khabib just lets it go and lets him become the undisputed champion. And then if Conor wins, then they fight in a unification belt and Khabib takes it from him again. I think that's what Khabib. I think Khabib would come back just to make sure Conor doesn't win that belt again.
Yeah. Did you notice? You have to think Dana and Conor had a little get together, and you notice how Conor's kind of playing on Khabib's loyalty and his pride. He's like, hey, you didn't win the belt. They didn't announce you the winner of the belt after our fight. Khabib's like, I don't think Khabib's smarter than that to fall into that trap, but it is kind of funny to see him do that.
Conor, I don't think it's not going to get as personal. He's not gonna do the same shenanigans that he did last time.
Yeah,
but he is poking that bear again to try and get him to fight him. And I will say this. You can call me whatever you want, Jordan Chandler. I'm sure you're at some point you will. I will say this: the one true Conor can say whatever he wants, and Khabib can say whatever he wants. But there is something that is true, and I think Khabib knows this, and I don't think it worries him. I don't believe for 1 second that Khabib's scared, and he shouldn't be. But I do believe this. I think we do know. I think most people agree that was probably Conor at his worst in a UFC octagon the night that he fought him, and Khabib's peaked, right? Like his last 3 fights, he's been unreal. And Conor is saying, it took you 4 rounds to finish me at my worst when you were at your best. Let's fight when we're at our best. Now, as a fan, as a competitor, if I'm Khabib, I'm like, not my fault that you weren't at your best. Like,
exactly.
You lost your shot. You're a pro. You should have been at your best. You want to be an all-time great? You should have been at your best. Not my problem. But I think there is something that would be satisfying for Khabib to be like, oh, you're at your best now? Okay, watch. I'm still going to smash you. I think that intrigues Khabib.
That lightweight division is very interesting.
And by the way, you have like 5 other killers just waiting. And should we talk about the other guy that wants to fight Khabib?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Max Holloway. He said he wants to fight Khabib.
It doesn't end well. It doesn't end well for Max. And hey, look. What a performance by Max Holloway. Speaking of performances, but we all saw what happened when he went up to 155. with Dustin Poirier. And if Dustin Poirier did that to him, can you imagine what Khabib is going to do to him? Just saying.
It's different.
It ain't different.
It's different.
Same Khabib.
Because Poirier and Max just had a boxing match. Khabib's fight isn't going to be a boxing match.
Exactly. He's just going to take him. He's just going to take him down and maul him.
I'm just saying, if you're Max Holloway, that's what makes Max.
But what a performance by Max Holloway. I mean, we both called it. We knew Max. I think we both
wanted Calvin, but we were just like, you can't count out Max because, and like I said, the blessed era isn't over. Because if he loses that fight, he's pretty much done as a title.
Yeah,
he's out of the title picture for at least a year if he loses that fight.
100%. And now he's there. Like,
not only is he not there, he took every other fight off the table besides Volkanovski.
Oh, 100%.
There is no I'll fight. He is sitting there waiting for the winner of Ortega Volkanovski. Now
he beat Kattar at Kattar's gate. Like, that was the one thing we agreed on. Kattar's one of the best boxers. Like, and he made him look silly.
He didn't just beat him, but that's the other thing. Kattar is still one of the best boxers. Max Holloway didn't outbox him. He used a full arsenal of kicks, elbows. He throws a little bit more looping punches than straight punches like boxers.
Yeah.
Max's striking in MMA at that division, I mean, he's the man. He beat up Volkanovski. Volkanovski had to break it up with some chain wrestling and stuff to get him out of his rhythm and stuff, which props to him. He did a great job, and that's why he's still holding the belt, whether you agree with the decision or not.
Yeah. His pressure going forward in that fight, he didn't the announcers were talking about it too. Kattar never could get set. He never could do anything. He kept, did you see how many times he kept trying to throw that same elbow he caught Jeremy Stephens with? It didn't matter. As soon as he cocked back, he was getting hit with 2 or 3 punches. And Max was impressive, man. What was the stats? 444 significant strikes.
Dude,
444. Yeah, 445 significant strikes. He had 141 significant strikes in the 4th round alone. Oh, and by the way, he scored me like 200 and something points on DraftKings, and I ended up beating the guy. I thought I was going to lose. And so my DraftKings lineup, shout out to Max Holloway.
Shout out to me. Who built your DraftKings lineup? Come on.
Yeah, no, you did. You did actually.
No, but the freaking there are moments. There are moments when you're watching them where you're like, we're witnessing something special. When he's screaming over at DC and the commentators, I'm the best boxer in the UFC, and hits and slips a 5-punch combination while not even looking at Kattar.
It's impressive.
See, I saw somebody comment on Facebook. They're like, boxers do stuff like this all the time. It's not a big deal. Boxers ain't doing it with little 4-ounce gloves, dude. And oh, by the way, boxers aren't doing it when somebody can actually take them down or kick them either. Like that was different level stuff. And if you're Calvin Kattar, what do you do from here?
I think after the fight, he's just like, he's like, if you're not a Max Holloway fan, I don't know what you are. Like,
no, but if you're Calvin Kattar, don't you? I mean, this isn't like, oh, I make some adjustments or whatever. You're like, I'm 34 years old and I'm not even close to the level that this guy's on.
That's the thing that kind of alarmed. Well, once again, we touched on that before on Friday that he is a little. Well, he's 32.
Oh, 32. My bad.
But still, he's. I mean, Max isn't even 30 yet, and he's.
But I'm saying, but Calvin is levels behind Max Holloway. I mean, remember how impressive Brian Ortega was, and it was like, oh my gosh, he was. 100%. I'm saying this right now. Max Holloway does it to Brian Ortega again. If they fight again, Max schools him on the feet again.
I think so too. I think Max is waiting for his shot to get his belt back, which I think he will.
And then the Alex fight happens again with Max as the title holder if he beats Brian Ortega. I don't know, man. I'm actually a big believer in Brian Ortega, that he closed that gap a lot. And Calvin might need to do what Brian Ortega did and take like a year plus away from and just train and get better and fix things.
But he ain't getting younger.
How interesting was it that Max Holloway doesn't spar anymore?
Really interesting. I mean, you're a fighter. I don't know how important is it that he needs to be. Does he need to be doing it at that level? Do you think?
There's people that believe like you need those hard rounds or whatever. His cardio's fine. He obviously could fight forever. He looked fresh at the end of that fight. I mean, that last round, he wasn't even breathing heavy.
No.
It looks like he could do that all day.
It's crazy.
You probably could have brought in like another top 10 fighter and he probably could have fought him and done the same thing for another 3 rounds.
He said he's staying on the island for the rest of the week in case something happens.
In case something happens to Poirier or Connor because he wants a rematch with both of them.
Wow.
It's a but the sparring thing's interesting. But when you've had as much ring time as him and as much experience and your cardio's there and stuff, as long as you're doing all the other right things, I just think you're preserving your body. And everybody knows and everybody saw it. Like once Chuck Liddell's chin went, it went. Rashad Evans, like a lot of these guys that once it goes, it goes. At featherweight too, where he's not taking like these, he doesn't have these huge heavy punchers.
Yeah.
Like, you got to remember 28 fights now, and he's fought in the likes of Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, when Conor was on his rise and starching everybody. He's the only guy that Conor didn't knock out at 145 pounds.
He's never been knocked down.
He's never been knocked down even. Never.
That's impressive.
So you can't really question what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I would be fascinated if somebody would go follow him around during a fight camp for a month and put together a documentary on how he trains.
Is he the greatest featherweight of all time?
Yeah. I said it. I've been saying that for 3 years. Yeah, absolutely.
Is it even close? It's either it's him. You can't make an argument for Aldo, can you?
The argument you can make for Aldo is he caught Aldo after Aldo's dominant run. But as we can see now too, it's not like Aldo's done. Aldo's still a great fighter. Yeah. Aldo didn't drop off. I think Jose Aldo's the same age as Calvin Kattar. He's only like 32 years old, 33.
Yeah, he's young too. Yeah, he is young.
Right? So it's not like he beat Aldo when Aldo was like 30, 29 and 30 in their fights. So it's not like he got him after his prime. Jose Aldo was still very much in his prime. Max is just better.
So Max
defended his belt, went up to 155 and challenged for the interim 155 belt. Max isn't just the best featherweight of all time. He is approaching, for me, he's approaching Mount Rushmore greatness.
If he wins the belt back, do you put him up there?
He's got to be pretty dang close. Dude, I mean, it's his body of work, man. Like you're talking about body of work. I mean, he is almost right up there with John Jones.
Really is. He really is.
With his resume and who he's beat and how he beat him. I mean, Jose Aldo twice when Jose's 29-30, like in his physical prime, he took everything Conor had and took him to a tough decision, moving up weight classes and challenging for interim title. Even though it didn't go that way, guy couldn't even put him away. And then the way he beats people, he doesn't just beat them, like he takes their soul with him.
I didn't realize he's fought Dustin Poirier twice.
I
didn't realize that. Why did I not know
at
that?
Featherweight
lost by armbar.
Yeah.
Back 9 years ago. Yeah, I didn't realize that. But he's literally fought. He's fought everybody. Moved up in weight, fought Poirier at 155. Didn't go well, but I'm impressed, man. He's right up there for me as well.
I just think that yeah, it's so wild, man. It's so wild to even think that he's just coming into his prime. What he's accomplished, and he might just be coming into his prime still.
I mean, he could very well go back up to 155. Maybe he just needs a couple more years. I don't think he. I don't want him to, but
I don't think he's big enough.
Yeah, but I mean, he gets older, puts on a little more size.
You know what I would really love to see, because I think it ends different now. If the fight for him is him and Connor. If you're Max, the fight for him is him and Connor at 155.
Yeah.
If Khabib really goes away and Connor gets that 155 belt back, there are literally 15 storylines that make sense and are a ton of fun. And Max Holloway is one of those storylines, as Max reclaims his 145 crown, going up and challenging for that 155 crown again and rematching. Because I mean, Connor's thing is, right, his cardio. Max has turned into the cardio machine, and the volume and the output and Connor puts everybody down with his left hand. He didn't put Max down when Connor was like on the rise, and
you saw when Max tweeted he's the best boxer, and Connor
said LOL.
Maybe there's a storyline there.
There is. There's a huge storyline there.
Are you giving Poirier a chance this Saturday?
Absolutely, I am. Absolutely. I think he'd be crazy not to. He's not the same fight. Poirier is not the same fighter that Connor fought the first time. He's a lot stronger. He's a lot better. I still think that if Connor's as engaged as everybody says he is, and Dana's whatever, I think the only person that beats that Conor McGregor is Khabib.
Yeah, I agree.
Conor at his peak, and he's engaged and he's hungry and he's fighting. Because that's the other thing. I was talking about it with some family members yesterday to get together. It's not like he's fighting for money. It's not like he's fighting for, and he's fighting for his legacy, and he wants to be recognized, not just in his own opinion, in his own circles, but by everybody as an all-time great. He wants to become an undeniable all-time great. And there's some things that he needs to accomplish still to achieve that. And reclaiming his crown and defending it successfully a few times is a must. If he gets the top at 155 again, and then vacates and goes up to 170, he'll never get the respect from peers or fans.
Yeah.
And he even said it with Khabib. He's like, how could you go away with all the fights with like, and he even said with Oliveira, with me, with Poirier again, with all these, and he actually gave Oliveira a lot of credit. He credit right there. And that makes me sit there and go, how can he go away with all those guys right there? He needs to fight. He needs to fight Justin Gaethje. If he beats Dustin Poirier, he needs to fight Justin Gaethje. He needs to fight Oliveira. He needs to fight Michael Chandler, and he needs to fight Nate Diaz again.
Who did you see? Gaethje might be fighting Diaz.
Yes,
I don't want to see it.
Mops him.
I don't want to see it.
Gaethje mops him. I
want to see Gaethje Oliveira.
Oh my gosh, that fight could go one of two ways, and either way, it's going to be crazy.
That's the fight at lightweight to see who's going to rise above.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because they both just dominated Tony Ferguson within the last 9 months.
Yeah, and you could look at both of them and say, okay, are we getting Tony on the downslide? Which you could make an argument that, hey, maybe.
Yeah, they were. But regardless, Tony is where he is right now, and they both just beat the brakes off. They both just
beat him, and different ways, but they both just different ways. I'd love to see it, man. That's really because I don't want to see the winner of Hooker and Chandler doesn't do much for me. Like, I mean, okay, it bumps you up a little bit, but I don't want to see that against
You
and
know what?
Oliveira. I don't want to see it against the Gaethje.
Oliveira is going to turn into the Leon Edwards of that division, where he's always just going to be left out looking in.
He needs to get on there and start talking shit on Twitter or something.
He can't. He doesn't speak English.
Hire a PR guy and just have him talk trash for you, because he needs to start calling.
Hire me. Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira. Get this message to Charles Oliveira. Hire me. I'll get on your Twitter and I'll get you a big fight. Guaranteed.
He should be calling for the Gaethje fight, really, if you think about it. Why is he not calling for a Gaethje fight? I want a Gaethje.
He can't speak English. He can't type it out.
Use Google Translate and just copy and paste.
That app sucks. It doesn't even work. I tried.
Oh, man.
I tried to communicate with Aldo. No, no, but you're right. I mean, he needs to. But I mean, think about there are some, they are trying to line up Nate Diaz with a former title challenger, right? Because if Nate Diaz wins and Conor wins, then they can make Nate Diaz McGregor 3 for the 155 belt. And that's a humongous fight. But you know what's so crazy is there's so many fights right now. And I've always said, I want to see it again. I don't really care about that fight again. I don't care about the Diaz brothers anymore. I want to see him in a cage fighting or go away. I don't want to hear about it. I want to actually see it.
Why would Gaethje want to fight a guy that's not even ranked? Why?
Because one, payday.
Okay, I could see
that.
That is a big payday.
2, he beats the brakes off of him. Justin Gaethje beats the brakes off Nate Diaz.
I agree. Yeah.
Right? It's an easy win and it's a high-profile fight. And Chael Sonnen used to say this. He goes, he said, when people say stuff like, I want to fight this person at their best, at the top, I don't want any excuses. I want to beat them at their best. He goes, and Chael goes, that's bull crap. He goes, I want to face the highest profile, highest ranked guy that's the easiest matchup for me. And he goes, the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, that's what every fighter should want, because that's what's going to be best for your career. And that's exactly what that would be for Justin Gaethje. That'd be the highest profile fight you could have. That's all but a guaranteed win. Nate Diaz isn't going to knock him out. Nate Diaz isn't going to
he might submit him.
He might submit him. He could, but
he's got to get him down first.
And Justin just hits different. And I mean, why it's intriguing is Nate Diaz has never really been knocked out besides a head kick from Josh Thompson. Yeah. So it's but nobody's ever punched him and knocked him out. Maybe Justin Gaethje flatlines Nate Diaz. How crazy would that? I mean, it's fun. Makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, me
zero. The craziest thing with the Diaz brothers is right now is they take so much time off that if they take a fight, it's exciting.
Yeah.
But it's yeah. You know the fight that actually really excites me for Nate Diaz, because this guy's kind of left without a dance partner right now. It's RDA. If Nate Diaz is going to come back to 155, I think RDA should be the one to welcome him, because he's a former title holder. He's trying to rise back up, and I think Nate is in that 8 to 10 range at 155. If he comes down to 155, I think that's where Nate kind of should be. I think him and RDA fight makes a lot of sense.
I like that. I could go with that. RDA's chirping too. He wants a shot at McGregor too.
That's another fight that makes sense for Conor. It's a fight, but it's another fight that because they have history, right? And Conor was supposed to already fight him once.
I don't know if that's a big money fight though. RDA doesn't have the name.
Let me make something clear for you. Conor McGregor could be scheduled to fighting a heavy bag at Madison Square Garden, and it would sell 1 million pay-per-view.
That is true. But if your B side is a Dustin Poirier or a Gaethje or a let's just say not Leon Edwards, but a Jorge Masvidal, if that B side's big too, it's even better.
Oh, for sure. But it's Conor. He's and we'll go over it. We'll touch on it Friday or whenever we do our picks for that card. The rest of the card is kind of underwhelming, and they do it all the time on Conor McGregor fights because they know they don't have to load up that pay-per-view because Connor's the show. Connor is the show.
They've already been showing pictures of him getting out of the car. He came in on a yacht and all this stuff.
Did he really?
Yeah, that's
Gangster.
I think it's kind of cool that Poirier is actually getting this fight. I really do.
He deserves it.
Good for Poirier. He deserves it, man.
I'm happy they're doing this fight.
This might be Dana saying, "Hey, you know what? We're going to throw you a bone here. You're going to fight McGregor."
Well, that's 100% what it is.
Yeah,
he got a new 8-fight deal, and they're going to kick it off with a nice big fat payday with Conor McGregor.
Yeah, this card. I'm looking over this card, and
there's a couple fun fighters on there, but as far as like, ooh, this is going to be, there isn't one fight that you're like, the two undefeated kids we just watched, or Eminov and Zawada. I mean, I'm looking on this Conor McGregor card.
I'm really excited for the matchup between Hooker and Chandler.
That's fireworks. I mean, that's great.
This is really going to kind of set the tone. I mean, Hooker beats Chandler. Okay, he beats a guy that's coming over from Bellator. I mean, how much stock do you put in? How much stock do you put into that if Hooker beats him versus if Chandler beats Hooker?
Dirty little secret. And Amanda Ribas is on the card. That's fun. She's cool. Marina Rodriguez is pretty good too. Brad Tavares, Antonio's Julius Pena, man, Khalil Roundtree's fun. He's back. Nikki Lentz is fun.
Nick Lentz and Evolov should be pretty good.
But it's a bunch of guys. It's just like,
Yeah, it's just
But dirty little secret, in case anybody hasn't figured this out yet. There is nothing Dana loves more than inviting people over from other organizations and watching them get smashed. He loves it. That's why he's trying to build Chandler up.
Here's what
he's a genius at it because he makes Michael Chandler, he's my buddy. Yeah, he could slip right into that Gaethje Khabib fight if something happens to one of them. Like, we'll slip him right in there at the top. He wants to watch the guy that came from Bellator and was the man at Bellator. He wants to watch him get smashed by UFC guys so he can be like, "Ha, see, told you."
Here's the thing that's a little alarming. Well, he's only 5'8". He's got to be banking on his wrestling to beat Hooker. Like, that's really his only shot, don't you think? Like, Hooker picks him apart on the feet, right?
He could school Hooker. He very well could take Hooker down and school him down there.
And he's 34. And he's 34 years old. It's kind of make or break for him.
Absolutely. Oh, this fight is everything for him.
Yeah.
I mean, this fight is everything.
Do we want to just touch on these other fights real quick on Wednesday? We're going to record again tomorrow.
Oh, we're going to record again tomorrow. Right. Let's see.
Because we got an super early card on Wednesday, 7 a.m. for everybody listening. That card starts at 7 a.m. The Chiesa Magny fight. This isn't a bad card though either. I mean, it's
not doing us in America any favors by putting it on at 7.
Viviane Araujo against Roxanne Modafferi. Roxanne's always tough. She's always a huge underdog too.
Love Roxanne.
But Araujo's
she's so fun to watch fight. She's legit. The nicest person on the planet.
Tyson Nam's on there. Matt Schell. Tom Breeze is on this card.
Pretty Ricky Samoan is back.
Figueiredo. Is that Figueiredo's brother against Jerome Rivera? That is his brother, isn't it? It's got to be.
Looks just
Francisco
like
Figueiredo. It looks just like the Team Figueiredo. It is. Yeah, that is his brother.
Is he a 135 or 2? Yeah.
Team Figueiredo. Hey, should we talk, or do we want to wait and get it scheduled first before who we might have coming on the podcast?
Let's get it scheduled. Last time we talked about a big name coming on. It didn't work out so well.
Yeah, freaking Aldo. Damn you. Hey, for the record, though,
it wasn't his fault.
For the record, I know it wasn't his fault. And for the record, I have been watching it. Gilbert Burns is a tough person to get on to interview.
Yeah.
I've been seeing it all over Twitter with people, same people in our position that were supposed to have him on, and
He said he'd do it.
And he said he'd do it, and blah blah blah. It's like whatever, dude. That's fine. I hope you lose.
Salty old man.
Oh man,
Salty to go with your pepper beer.
Not coming up there. Aldo's gonna freaking leg kick me or something.
No, he tried. He said he'd do it. It's just I just think he's a little flaky, but it's okay. He's focused on a title fight.
Hey, yeah, he's got a title fight.
I'll give it to him.
Chiesa Magny. What are your thoughts on that before we get off real quick? Our short podcast turned into an hour.
That's short. We didn't go over an hour yet.
What's your thoughts on this one?
I think it's a really close, tough fight. I give the edge in striking to Neil Magny. I give the grappling edge to Michael Chiesa. And cardio's got to go to Magny. I'm leaning Magny. Who's the betting favorite? Is it Magny?
Magny. It's close though. Yeah,
it's a slap. I mean, shoot. If I'm a betting man, and we know that I am, I'm not putting anything on this fight. This fight, I think anything can happen. This is literally a fight where I'm just like, just sit back and enjoy, because I think some insane could happen. I think these two are just. I feel like Michael Chiesa is just right there. He just needs. I'm not.
It should be a fun one. I bet it's a good. I'm banking on it being a good fight. Yeah, we'll have to break down the rest of the card for you guys tomorrow. Actually, we could watch the weigh-ins. Should be early. Then we could record tomorrow afternoon and give our picks.
There you go.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that,
baby. Is that it? Is that all we got for today?
Yeah.
I got to go pick up Cole Schaefer's hoodies. We did some dope hoodies for Mr. Schaefer.
Yep. Looks like we're going to be doing Mitch Ramirez and
do some hoodies for those guys. Johan, I got to get Johan's stuff ready for his fight as well. Yeah. All right. Well, we will get out of here. Thanks for tuning in today for our little recap episode, and we'll see you guys tomorrow to make our picks for the fight night with Chiesa and Magny. You good, Zach? Got anything else?
That's it. Good, brother.